Hello guys. This is the Orange Hokage here, and today we are doing What If Naruto Went Back in Time with Sakura Part 17. Make sure you check the description for the original creator's story, and now let's get right into the story. Sarutobi sat down in his raised seat with Hideyoshi opposite him. The Konoha Shinobi Council was already present with some reports lying in front of them. The Elder Council was sitting on the tier right below the Hokage. Sarutobi and Hideyoshi shared a small smirk before Sarutobi spoke. As you all know, Naruto has led a team of Konoha and Yuzu's best and brightest shinobi into Kiri to help the rebels. It took them 3 days to reach the rebel base. Upon arrival, they found the base and its personnel under siege of Yagura's forces. Yagura had sent 2 of his 3 remaining active battalions. I doubt that they had much trouble. After all, Jiraiya and Naruto-sama was there. They themselves can easily turn the tides of any battle. Hamura said with a nonchalant expression. Hideyoshi and Sarutobi suppressed a grin. Not really, only Naruto needed to interfere. Jiraiya was saddled with protection detail of the rebel leader. Then I can assume that Naruto-sama had suspected foul play. Am I right, Hiruzen? Everyone narrowed their eyes at the old war hawk. There was no information about a traitor in the reports, so where did Danzo get such an idea? Naruto didn't say anything like that in his report, but I am sure that such a thing can happen. After all, we have seen war, haven't we, Naruto-kun? Hideyoshi said with a chuckle as a muffled laugh rang throughout the room. Everyone but Hiruzen and Hideyoshi tensed for a moment before realizing that it was only Naruto. Danzo, on the other hand, felt a spine-chilling shiver run up his back. He could sense that the presence focused on him. A whisper sounded in Danzo's ear, causing the man to nearly jump out of his seat. You made a grave mistake, old man. Did you think I won't find out? With a cold sweat breaking out on his skin, Danzo stuttered out, I don't know what you mean, Naruto-sama. I'm sure that you will when I elaborate. Naruto said with a mischievous grin. Danzo narrowed his eyes in a frown that quickly changed into horror as Naruto began speaking. My fellow council members, Hokage and Fire Daimyo, I have here a scroll written by the team leader of the Root team I requested Danzo to send with me to Kiri. Just today, I liberated it from the leader and interrogated him, thinking that he was a traitor. Danzo suppressed a shiver. He hoped that Naruto was unable to break his cursed seal, else he was a dead man walking. What I found was quite disgraceful. The man was completely brainwashed, and then a cursed seal was placed on his tongue. The seal's presence prevented the man from speaking. Yes, Inoishi? I am sorry to interrupt, but did you find out how he was brainwashed and by whom? Naruto frowned before saying, through systematic physical and emotional torture followed by mental reprogramming sessions. It was done to both make the man a sociopath and completely loyal to the brainwasher. Do you have any idea who that is? Inoishi asked with a frown, before eyeing Danzo and saying, if not, I would love to mind walk the man. I have completed knowledge of who the person is. It is quite disgraceful that someone of such high esteem would do such a thing to unfortunate kidnapped orphans and forced volunteers from even Konoha's clans. Danzo looked startled as everyone looked outraged at the information. Hideyoshi stood up and declared with anger, painting his face red, who dares enact such disgraceful actions upon our subjects and unfortunate orphans? Tell us, Naruto-dano, so that we may enact justice. Why tell you, Hideyoshi-dano? When I can show you. Naruto said as he unsealed a large round wooden table with intricate ceiling arrays carved into the expensive white wood. Then he took out a slab from the side of the table and inserted a ceiling tag into the slot in the slat before reslotting it into the table. This is a device used by the Yuzu Council to review mission reports by having the mission recorded into small memory copying seals. The complex array atop the table works like a projector and displays the memory in a floating orb of chakra. Fascinating. Hiruzen said with curiosity while Danzo was wondering if he should make a break for it or not with a horrified expression. Just as the memory was starting to project, the doors to the room crashed open with the 2 Anbu guards flying into the room and knocking over the table. Everyone turned to the door to see the silhouette of a woman with pigtails with another woman beside her. While everyone else was distracted, Danzo tried to escape only for a cage of 6 glowing bars of light to form around him. The seals seemed to be carved directly into the bars of light with shadows. Tut. 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 That's not nice, Danzo. You really shouldn't try and escape justice. Naruto said, drawing everyone's attention. Huh? Danzo's being arrested? The woman at the door asked with a confused tone, causing Hideyoshi to chuckle and say, "Arrest? We think not. We are sure that Danzo is to be executed. After all, he just proved that he is a traitor to Konoha's best interest and a foul excuse of a man. Truly, who would put a child through emotional and mental conditioning?" "Good to see you back, Tsunade. Just take the Senju seat and enjoy the show," Hiruzen said with a chuckle, causing gasps of realization to escape the other shinobi counselors. "You know, we have been here during your granduncle's reign as Hokage, but we don't remember any other Senju kicking down the council chamber doors. Is this a new fashion, Tsunade?" Tsunade blushed in embarrassment as she turned to Hideyoshi and bowed. "Please forgive my insolence, Hideyoshi-sama, but I was too angry for proper manners." "And why were you so angry? Tell us so that we may be satisfied," Hideyoshi ordered as the two Anbu guards stood up and quietly fixed the table before moving out of the room and resealing it. "Until recently, I was under the impression that my godson, Naruto, was killed on the night of his birth. It was Sensei who sent the message," Tsunade said with a glare at Hiruzen. "Why did you lie to me, Sensei? Did you think me incapable of raising a child? Or did you think he would be better protected?" "That was not the message Hiruzen sent to you. I was there with Hamura and Danzo when Hiruzen told us his intentions of having you raise Naruto-sama away from Konoha until he was of the age to enter the academy," Koharu said, causing everyone to glare at Danzo. "Wow. Another black mark. I don't know how people still respect you, Danzo, but you have lost what little I had for you. Not that it was much to begin with," Naruto said with a grin. "There is no need for a trial, Naruto-dono. You may execute the traitor," Hideyoshi said with authority, sealing Danzo's doom. "Hand over Root to me, Danzo, and your death will be painless. Resist, and I get to see what happens when corrupt nature chakra is injected into a normal human," Naruto did with a cold smile, causing Danzo to shudder before ordering, "As of this moment, I hand over command of Root to Uzumaki Naruto-sama and step down as commander of the division. Fu, Trun, spread the word." "Before spreading the word, I would like it if you two would handle the transformation of Root into a police force that Konoha is sorely lacking. You have until the Chunin exams. Report to me when I return from Kiri, until then you report to the Anbu commander." "Dismissed," Naruto commanded with authority as two disembodied voices replied, "As you wish, Naruto-sama." "Now Danzo, it's your lucky day. I was wanting to test out this new offensive seal. Goodbye, Fuinjutsu, Kakujai Akamadori." The seals on the 6 glowing bars of light suddenly flashed a darker black before expanding in a dome around the caged Danzo, who just closed his eyes and waited. Before he realized, darkness encroached his mind as his soul and body were separated. As Danzo's body slumped in their binds, the 6 bars of light broke up into small motes of light. As soon as the bindings vanished, Danzo's body began to crumble into ash. As the body completely dissipated, Naruto said, "Too bad for him. The seal is much like the Shiki Fujin. It is powered by a small fraction of Shinigami-sama's power. Those techniques he tried to use with those embedded Sharingan are useless. None can escape the clutches of death." "What do you mean, Naruto-sama? When did Elder Danzo gain the Sharingan?" Shikaku asked with a frown. "And shouldn't you be dead for drawing on Shinigami-sama's power?" Zoom asked with confusion. Danzo had multiple Sharingan implants on his bandaged arm and a Mangekyo Sharingan under his facial bandages. He must have harvested the after the Uchiha massacre. Everyone gasped in horror as Naruto continued, "I think that there may be more to the massacre than we know. I doubt that Itachi took down his whole clan alone. It's just not feasible. Hell, even I with all my power would have had a hard time doing that without alerting the whole of Konoha." Everyone looked startled at the news as expressions of horror slowly crept into their faces. Only Hiruzen, Koharu, Hamura and Hideyoshi's faces didn't carry the looks. Their faces had paled instead as a horrific realization crept upon them. "From the looks on your faces, I can see that all of you realize what I have. I will check the files of Root to find out how much had been Danzo's puppetry. As for how I am alive, the seal doesn't summon Shinigami-sama, only a fraction of his power. The cost for using the seal is a single day of the user's collective lifespan for each soul this seal is used on. It is an Uzumaki Kinjutsu I have recently developed to handle that jutsu I read about in the Scroll of Seals. The one that summons dead shinobi from the pure realm. Hiruzen let out a shocked gasp and said, "You developed a Kinjutsu to counter Tobirama-sensei's Kinjutsu summoning?" Naruto nodded before Tsunade said, "That's all good and well, but can I ask what are you doing here? Last I heard, you were in Kiri helping the rebellion." "Oh right. We got completely sidetracked with the plan to force Danzo reveal his treachery." Naruto said only for Shibi to ask, "Do you mean to say that you had plans to capture Danzo from the start? And why did you take Root under your control? Why not have command be placed under Sensei?" Tsunade asked with confusion. Naruto, Hiruzen and Hideyoshi shared looks before Hiruzen sighed and said, "Hideyoshi-sama, Naruto-kun and I had been planning for such an eventuality for some time now. In fact, Naruto asked for a Root team from Danzo for this very reason. As for why Naruto-kun took command of Root, to tell you the truth Tsunade, I am an old man now. I am becoming overwhelmed by the amount of work I am having to do. So, as of the finals of the Chunin exams, I shall officially step down and hand over the hat to Naruto-kun. Unofficially, Naruto-kun will become the Hokage as soon as he returns." Everyone looked dumbfounded at the revelation. Everyone but Tsunade expected Naruto to take the hat in the future but not this soon. Tsunade asked, "Isn't he a bit too young to be placed with such a heavy burden?" Hideyoshi and Hiruzen chuckled at the Slug Princess's question before Hideyoshi said, "From past actions as daimyo, and how he handled the situation at Nami no Kuni, I can confidently say that if there was someone truly deserving the role of a leader, it is Naruto Dano. After all, how many can say that at the tender age of 12, they have done as much for his people and innocence as Naruto Dano has? Does anyone have any objections with my choice of successor?" Hiruzen questioned, only getting negative head shaking from the Shinobi Council and the elders. Hiruzen nodded in satisfaction before saying, "Keep this between us until I make the official announcement. Anyway, let us return to the reason for the meeting. Naruto Dano, if you will." Naruto nodded to Hideyoshi and said, "As you all know, the rebels had a mole amongst them. A mole in quite a high place as well. The mole has been now neutralized. 3/4 of Yagura's forces are neutralized and I have sent a challenge to Yagura to either face me or surrender. He has 1 week left to comply. Haruno Sakura has done an excellent job as an Ronin. Thanks to her efforts, the initial casualty count had dropped from 70% to 3. That's impossible. No one can do that without healing multiple patients at the same time." Tsunade exclaimed, "Only I can do it, that too only with Gotsu's help. Even then, to get these numbers, I would have fallen into a coma from the strain I would put on my chakra network. Last time I checked, I was the only slug summoner in all the nations. Care to put your purse where your mouth is, Ba-chan? I am sure that Sakura-chan has surpassed you," Naruto said with a taunting grin. Everyone in the council chamber suppressed a groan. Everyone knows that challenging Naruto was like playing with fire in a paper filled with soaked-in oil. You will get burned no matter how much you play it safe. Zoom particularly knew this well, as because of Kiba's idiocy, the Inuzuka clan owed the Uzumaki a blank favor. She really wished that Kiba didn't try to outdo Naruto and try to sneak into Anbu headquarters only to be caught and had to be saved by Naruto. Really, Gaki? Then what will you owe me when I win? I will place my grandfather's necklace on the line. How about your great-grandfather's personal armor? The shinobi from Hiruzen's generation were startled at the ante. Hiruzen shakily asked, "Hashinki-sama's armor? The armor that is said to be self-adjusting, self-repairing and granted the user perfect chakra control? The armor that was said to be lost? The armor which will fetch enough to buy all 5 great nations at the same time and still leave a sizable nest egg?" "That's right. You're on. Don't come crying to me when you have to part with such an expensive artifact." "Very well. When we return from Kiri, you and Sakura-chan can have a no-holds-barred spar. I hope that you will not cry when you lose." "It's not I who will cry, Gaki, it will be you." Naruto nodded with a small grin before continuing his report. "Anyways, due to her outstanding performance on the field, I recommend that Haruno Sakura be promoted at least to Chunin." Hiruzen nodded before saying, "I will take your recommendation into account when I review her actions. From the letters Jiraiya and Mai-san has sent me, they recommended that Haruno be promoted to Takebutsu Jonin, specializing as combat Ronin. I will take their recommendation under consideration as well. Please continue with your report. Naruto nodded. The Root team has done well in their mission of sabotaging Jaeger's supply lines and armory. They have done a top-notch job in infiltrating and gathering intel. Everyone nodded in satisfaction as Naruto continued. Team 9 under Elite Jonin Mitoge are doing a splendid job as a team specializing in finding and extraction of injured from the battlefield. I recommend that they be allowed to participate in the upcoming Chunin exams. I am sure Gai will agree with my assessment that they are ready for the challenge. Splendid. I was hoping they will be recommended for the exams. Hiruzen said with mirth. Anbutora and Nico, I recommend that they be awarded the Spirit of the Forest Medal. 3 days ago, a squad of 12 elite Jonin of Kiri ambushed the supply wagon sent by the Mizu daimyo and killed the 4 rebel guards. Tora and Nico survived by the quick thinking of Tora, and afterwards they took out 8 of the Jonin, captured 2 and severely injured the 2 who retreated. Thanks to their actions, the supplies were saved. If their outstanding performance during the ambush doesn't deserve a medal, I don't know what will. Your recommendation is taken into consideration. I will review their reports and get back to you later. Naruto nodded. Sai and Sasuke, I recommend that they be allowed to participate in the upcoming Chunin exams as well. If Haruno Sakura is promoted, I would suggest that we induct Sarutobi Konohamaru into the shinobi ranks and have the 3 perform the necessary D ranks for teamwork training before participating in the exams. Naruto-sama, is it wise to put Konohamaru-san into such a difficult exam at such a young age? Choza asked with concern. Naruto's small grin enlarged into a foxy one as he said, I am sure that my apprentice can give the vaunted Inoshikacho of my generation a run for their money. I'll say he is a prodigy in his own right, but don't let him learn that I said that. He has a bit of an ego after all. No need to feed it. I doubt we want another practitioner of the big head jutsu. Everyone chuckled at the subtle jab at Ruka, who was unfortunately not here to protest. Very well. I will have Ruka administer the test. Konohamaru-kun should become a proud shinobi of Konoha by tomorrow evening. Continue. Zabuza, Haku and Fu have successfully escorted the supplies to the rebels with much trouble. They were exited by a small group of bandits. A couple of whom were academy dropouts and the leader was a former Takubutsu Jonin of Kiri. Zabuza took care of them without fanfare. Hiruzen nodded when Shikaku asked, what about Kakashi? As I said, the Mizu daimyo has pulled his support from Jaeger and is now supporting the rebels. Because of that, I sent Kakashi to protect the daimyo and his family. A prudent decision, as within 3 days of Kakashi's arrival, he had to thwart 5 attempts, 3 by poison, 1 by illusion-controlled servant and the final by an assassin. Everyone nodded with looks of understanding as Naruto continued, not only that, but yesterday, Kakashi captured some of Jaeger's supporters within the daimyo's court and household. Even now, I have sent a Ketsueki Bunshin to help. In Jireya's mission? While traveling to the rebel encampment, I sensed a vile presence near our position. As it was underground, I had the team move ahead while I and Jireya infiltrated the base using a simple earth ninju technique. We confronted the snake and nearly captured him, but was able to wiggle out of the predicament by summoning the Hokage Sennin, who then proceeded to cancel his contract with the Snake Clan. Using a remote-activated reverse summoning seal, he escaped before I and Koshiro-senpai could put an end to him. After that, Jireya decided to join us in our endeavors. Everyone nodded, but before anyone could interrupt, Naruto continued, we took care of all the base personnel and captured 2 of Orochimaru's top lieutenants. One of them is suffering from some kind of natural sage transformation but without being able to control himself. The other is a Kaguya suffering from what Sakura-chan said was a degenerative bone disease. He won't make it without extensive therapy. Currently, they are in stasis sealed in human containment scrolls within the Uzumaki compound under the protection of Kanjiki Demon. I have a feeling that I can convince them to join us. Do as you see fit, Naruto-kun. Now is that all? For the moment anyway. Wait a minute, can I ask why put the Kaguya in stasis, especially if he is suffering from the inherent degenerative disease all Kaguya contract at one point in time? I mean, there is no known cure at the moment. Tsunade exclaimed, only for Hiruzen to groan. You are really outdated, aren't you? Sakura-chan has already found a cure. Kanjiki Demon's wife is a Kaguya suffering from the same disease. She is already being treated by the process Sakura-chan has devised. It shows great promise as Ongoku-san is no longer coughing up blood and her bone density is returning to Kaguya standards. Tsunade gaped at the news. Until now, even herself had given up hope on curing the Kaguya degenerative disease. To hear a young child develop a cure for what seemed to be an uncurable disease was shocking. That is the very reason why we have appointed Haruno Sakura as the head of the Konoha training program in medical research. The same program you once wished to implement but was turned down due to it being unfeasible during the Third War. Hideyoshi said with a smile. She is a formidable Konoha, even without her medical prowess. Much like you in fact, with similar physical strength, using a similar seal to store excess chakra and with outstanding medical abilities. Reminds me of how you were before those tragic events you suffered from. Hiruzen said, causing Tsunade to look at her former sensei with shock. Schooling her features, Tsunade turned to Naruto and asked, "So when are you coming back? Now that I hear about her, I am very interested in meeting her." Naruto chuckled and said, "A week at most. I advise you train and regain some of your skills again. Being semi-retired for so long, I don't want people to accuse Sakura-chan of defeating you when you were not at your best." The cheeky grin Naruto sported caused a vein to throw on Tsunade's forehead. Growling, Tsunade gritted out, "Don't underestimate experience, Gaki. While this Haruno Sakura may be skilled, experienced shinobi can easily outdo her." "Whatever you say, Ba-chan." Naruto waved off nonchalantly before turning back to the council and saying, "That's all I have to report for now." "Thank you for taking your time to come and give your report in person, Naruto-kun." Council dismissed. Everyone nodded and before leaving all of them wished Naruto luck with his upcoming duel with Yagura. After everyone left, only Naruto, Tsunade, Hiruzen and Hideyoshi were left. "Well played, Naruto-kun. I must say, I never expected Danzo to so easily be defeated. He was usually more attentive," Hideyoshi said with a grin. "He didn't expect us to move against him. Besides, it is for this very reason I had been discussing the academy curriculum with him. I have been subtly enforcing the idea that we were very alike. That made him relax and comfortable with me. He thought I wouldn't have intercepted the messages from his root commander in Kiri and use it against him. He expected me to come to him alone and discuss it in private. That's why he panicked and tried to flee when Ba-chan stormed into the chambers. You played a very dangerous game, Gaki. One single mistake and Danzo would have capitalized on it," Tsunade said with a frown. "That's why I put up the charade of having the same mentality as him. Anyway, I am sure you would like to rest, so I recommend that you stay at the Uzumaki clan compound. The Senju is sure to be in disrepair. Besides, you have enough Uzumaki blood flowing through your veins for the barrier to allow you in trance without the permission seal. Then there's Moka Obasama. I am sure you remember her. She was close friends with your grandmother. I am sure she would love to see more family." Tsunade's eyes widened in shock at Naruto's revelation. "Moka Obakan is still alive? How? I thought everyone in Yuzu died." "You will be surprised at how tenacious we Uzumaki really are. We are like weeds. No matter how much you strive to eradicate us, we will pop up from the most unsuspecting places." "Ain't that true?" Hiruzen grumbled under his breath as the four walked out of the chamber. Shizune falling into place behind her teacher. "It's been so long since I have been here last," Tsunade said with misty eyes before her eyes widened in shock at the number of people rushing about. Granted most weren't Uzumaki, but the few Uzumaki who passed by caused Tsunade to gasp. "Amazing, isn't it? When I started living here, I was completely alone with Sakura-chan staying over from time to time. Now, there isn't a moment of peace." Again Ayako. "Don't get frustrated. The objective of the exercise is to keep calm and let your chakra flow in spirals above your palms and in different directions." Ayaka looked up with a frustrated frown as Moka started giving her the same lecture when she saw Naruto walking towards them with a blonde woman. Behind them was a black-haired woman carrying a pig. Jumping up before Moka could finish her lecture, Ayaka called out, "Naruto-sama. You're back." Moka just signed before calling, "All right, class dismissed." Cheering filled the small crowd of children as they stood up and rushed towards Naruto calling out for his attention. "Hey kids! Having fun with Obasama?" Ayako pouted. "Obasama has been forcing us to practice chakra control. She hasn't been allowing us to practice ninjutsu. Naruto chuckled, now Ayako-chan. Chakra control is a very important lesson. If you have better control of your chakra, the larger amount of elements you can connect to and the stronger your ninjutsu will be. So listen to her and practice. Ayako nodded with a pout as Naruto continued, how is your mother doing? Much better. The treatment Sakura Nezama assigned her is causing her to recover faster than expected. They say that mother will be able to leave the hospital by next Monday. Then that means she will come home to you in 3 days. I am sure she will love to see how much you have progressed by then. Naruto said with an encouraging smile. Now run along and make sure to keep the other kids out of trouble. Where is your brother? I was sure I sensed Makuren here. Makuren-kun has better chakra control than his sister. He has already mastered this part. I sent him off to the park with Mogi-kun. Naruto-sama. A voice called from behind him. Turning, everyone saw Suiren sitting in a crouched position with her head lowered in deference. The girl was wearing black Hanbuishu uniform much like his own with a dark navy blue vest. Crystal seemed to be embedded on the vest. On the back was an Uzumaki swirl and on the sleeve of her top was the symbol of a lotus encased in crystal. The girl's shoulder-length hair was tied up in a ponytail with a pair of ornamental chopsticks made of crystal holding it in place. On her forehead was the Uzushio Hittite. Ah. Suiren. I have something to discuss with you. Meet me in my study within an hour. Bring Konohamaru with you. You may return to your duties. As you wish, Naruto-sama. Suiren said before a cloud of navy blue crystal dust obscured her form. As the crystal dust settled, the girl was gone. Ah. I wish I could be like Suinezama. Ayako said before a crashing sound filled the compound and then shouts resounded. Ayako's eyes widened in shock before she rushed off towards the commotion. Ayako is quite forgetful, isn't she? Naruto said with a chuckle as Mocha sighed in annoyance. That she is. Reminds me of Mito Nezama. She was like her at that age as well. I see that you brought little Tsuna as well. Good to see you well, Tsu-chan. I hear that you have been moping about ever since your brother and lover died. That is quite unbecoming of someone of your stature. Do you think they would approve of your lifestyle? You do know that you have been dishonoring their sacrifice as well as your grandfather, great uncle and grandmother's legacy. Tsunade flinched at the calm tone in which Mocha said all this. Keeping her head lowered, Tsunade waited for Mocha to reveal the infamous Uzumaki temper in me for the order woman to sigh and say, anyway, let's keep the past in the past. I hope that you won't be dishonoring them anymore from now on. Now I am sure that you and your apprentice will be living with us, so. Hinajaku-kun. You need me, Mocha-sama? Yuki Hinajaku asked as she walked into the training field with a tray of iced tea. Yes, Hinajaku-kun. Please prepare 2 of the guest bedrooms in the main building. We will be having these 2 fine Konoishi as our guests for the foreseeable future. At once, Mocha-sama. And tell Natsumi-kun to serve tea and cinnamon rolls in Zen Garden. We will be there. And give me the tray. Naruto said, taking the tray without even letting the woman protest and shooing her away. Turning back to Tsunade, Mocha asked with a teasing grin, now Tsu-chan, don't tell me all that alcohol has addled your mind. Have you forgotten standard etiquette? Tsunade flushed in embarrassment before saying, this is Kato Shizu, my apprentice. She is quite skilled in treatment of poisoning. Nice to meet you, Kato-kun. I hope to get to know you better. Shizu bowed and said, it is an honor, Uzumaki-sama. Are you joining us, Naruto-kun? Naruto shook his head, unfortunately no. I have to. Eve within 2 hours. Before that, I need to meet up with that Jonin from Kuza. I hate idiots like the Kuza ninja. Have fun with the meeting. I am sure you won't have to subdue Kuza. Then again, they were always led by idiots. I remember Tobirama-kun complaining about empty heads filled with dead grass. Naruto was sitting on a luxurious cushion with a plate of expensive meat in front of him. With care, a cook grilled a piece of meat before dipping the meat into a spicy sauce and placing it on his plate. Naruto picked up the piece and ate it with slow bites. Beside him, Hyuga Hinata was daintily eating her own piece. Are the pieces to your liking, Naruto-sama, Hinata-sama? Naruto nodded with regal posture as Hinata said, perfectly done, Yukimura-san. Please continue. In front of the pair sat a fidgeting red-haired red-eyes girl. Beside the girl was an older woman in her mid-30s. Both were wearing Kuza Hitai. Naruto and Hinata kept eating for some time more before Naruto turned his gaze upon the redhead. "You are having trouble believing that I am your clan head, aren't you? You can speak freely. Naruto-kun doesn't maintain much decorum with family," Hinata said with an encouraging smile as she took a sip of the expensive sake the restaurant had provided them. Karen and Sachiko looked startled before Karen said in a tentative whisper, "I know that your mother was Uzumaki Kushina-sama and your father was Namikaze Minato-sama, but I didn't really believe the rumors that said you look more like your father than your mother. I just expected red hair is all." Naruto chuckled, "I may look like my father but I can assure you, I do have Uzumaki qualities. After all, there is a reason my friends try not to anger me. An angry Uzumaki is a dangerous one. I will say, you really didn't need to have Kiba-kun go through that humiliating sequence of events for making an improper comment about Suiran-san." Sachiko and Karen shared an awkward look before saying, "If I may, Naruto-sama?" "You may not," Naruto said with a slightly cold look in his eyes, causing Sachiko to shiver at the blunder. She forgot that not only was Naruto the clan head, but also a daimyo and probably the most powerful shinobi at the moment. Before she could apologize, Naruto spoke. "We know why you are here. You wish to hand over Karen to us, but we doubt that's your only motivation. Tell us, what does the leader of Kuza and his council want? We shall see if it is within our power to grant." Sachiko suppressed a shiver. The authority and power Naruto was exuding was nearly overwhelming. Gulping, Sachiko said, "My leader and the council wish to offer your highness a chance to open a branch of your clan in Kuza." "I see, and why should I need their permission when our fellow daimyo has already sent us a request for that? Mind, our fellow daimyo didn't offer permission but requested us to consider the proposal. So tell me, do your leaders think they are over your daimyo?" "Ah." Sachiko mumbled only for Naruto to speak. "Be gone from my sights. You have insulted us and you have insulted our peer. Be thankful that we don't take action for this insult. Our peer shall learn of this duplicity on your leader's behalf." Karen was startled at the sudden change in behavior from Naruto and started to shiver in fright. Karen feared that he would disown her from her clan. "Uzumaki Karen, hand over your Hitai to this woman and join us for lunch. We wish to get to know you better, cousin." Karen took of the Kuza Hitai with shaking hands and handed it over to Sachiko, who took it with a pale face. Depositing the scroll containing Karen's documents into Hinata's outstretched hands, Sachiko quickly stood up, bowed and nearly ran out of the room. Just as she was about to open the sliding door, two Anbu dropped from the ceiling. "Fu, Trun. Make sure that Sachiko-san leaves Kano immediately." Both nodded before grabbing Sachiko by the arms and vanished in a swirl of leaves. Karen watched dumbfounded at the scene before Hinata started giggling. "Don't be afraid, Karen-san. Naruto-kun isn't like this most of the time. It's just idiots like them gives me a headache. Going behind the back of their daimyo. Granting permission to a different daimyo. Only the greatest of idiots make such blunders. Kuza is lucky that I am a very laid-back kind of guy, otherwise I would have already declared war on Kuza with my allies following suit. Anyway, tell me about your abilities, Karen-chan." I am a sensor with a range of nearly 2 miles. When I focus, I can see the world in gray and blue." Naruto nodded. "Then tell me, what do you see a mile south by southwest of here? In that little park?" Karen looked surprised and asked, "Are you a sensor as well? What's your range?" "Not like you. My sensory skills comes from Senjutsu. As for my range, passively, I can sense 5 miles. Actively, more than 50. Karen's eyes bulged out in shock. "I didn't know that there were sensors with such a huge range." Naruto grinned. "I am awesome like that. Now tell me. What do you see?" Karen nodded and closed her eyes before clasping her hands into a tiger seal. After a moment, she spoke. "There are 5 kids, 2 male and 3 female playing ninja. One of the girls have a large chakra reserve that feels like ours." "That's enough. I realize what you have. The sensory ability is called Kagura Shigen. Your gift is particularly strong. Anything else?" "I was trained as Ornin. My chakra has higher yang concentration than most that allows me to heal people by having them bite me," Karen said with a slight blush. "That's rare. Very few has such a strong yang affinity. Moka Obakan will be interested. Anything else?" Sometimes I can manifest chains made from my chakra. Splendid. It seems that the Kongo Fusa ability isn't lost. Mocha Obaken was afraid it was lost with my mother. Naruto-sama, are there more Uzumaki alive? I heard a rumor that there were more Uzumaki living here. Karen asked with hope. Sure there are. I personally went out and found them. In fact I believe that there are more out there, hiding. Now let's finish our lunch before we head to the compound. I still have a meeting with my apprentice and a clan retainer. Help yourself. Karen nodded with a small smile before looking up in realization. You have an apprentice? I thought you were a genin. Naruto chuckled, I am awesome like that. Hinata smiled and said, Naruto-kun had been promoted a few weeks ago. As for having an apprentice, he has been training many shinobi, and Bu and Hokage-sama included ever since he graduated. Karen looked gobsmacked at the revelation before Naruto coughed and motioned for her to start eating. Shaking her head, Karen smiled and started eating with the couple. Naruto walked through the compound with a purpose. Hinata and Karen behind him. They walked towards the back of the compound, towards the training fields. As they approached the fields, they saw Tsunade training with Mocha. The blonde medic was barely able to come close to the wizened Uzumaki elder. 4 long glowing yellow chains were writhing about behind her and attacking the blonde woman with impunity. Karen gasped in shock and awe, drawing the 2 sparring women's attention. Ah! You must be Karen-kun. Welcome home, child. I am Mocha, you can call me Oba. Senjutsu Tsunade. A cousin by my grandmother. Nice to meet you. Karen's eyes widened in shock. It seems that ever since she came to Konoha, she has been shocked more times than she can remember. Uzumaki Karen. It's an honor to meet you both. No need for such formalities outside official meeting and events. We are family. Naruto said, clasping the girl on her shoulder, and smiled encouragingly before turning to Tsunade. Oi Ba-chan, she is a medic in training with Kagura Shigen, Kongo Fusa and High-Yang Affinity. I am sure you understand. Mocha and Tsunade looked at the girl in shock. 3 of the most powerful abilities a Uzumaki can possess, and she has all 3. They could see it now. The massive potential, if realized, will make her rival monsters like Hashirama and Madara, with proper training of course. Ba-chan, Oba-chan, I want you both to train her personally for the upcoming Chunin exams. I am sure she's up for the task. Are you sure, Naruto-sama? I don't want to dishonor the clan by underperforming. I don't think I am ready. Karen asked with uncertainty. Naruto smiled and said, don't worry about it. That's why I want you trained by these 2 awesome ladies. I am sure that by the time they finish, you will be a formidable Konoha. Karen nodded with a nervous smile as Mocha asked, are you going to stay for tea, Hinata-kun? If it's not much trouble. No trouble at all. In fact, I believe that we need to spend more time together. After all, in the near future you will be a member of the clan. A main branch Hyuga marrying outside the clan without the caged bird seal? Tsunade asked in shock. That's right. I am Hyuga Hinata, present heiress of the Hyuga clan and Naruto-kun's fiancé. Nice to meet you, Tsunade-sama. Fiancé? Gaki. What are you doing? You're only 13 years old. Tsunade exclaimed with incredulity. Honoring a verbal agreement between our parents. Besides, I am a daimyo. Being engaged to Hinata-chan protects me from persecution by my fellow daimyo. After all, I am subjected to the daimyo CRA law. Oh right. I completely forget about it. The shinobi CRA was based off that one. Being betrothed prevents others from forcing you to marry girls of their choice. You do know that only a single fiancé won't protect you forever, right? Don't worry about the future. Think about the present. I have a lot of time to search for suitable brides. See you later everyone. Konohamaru and Suiren are outside my study. Suiren and Konohamaru were standing outside the study when Naruto appeared in a yellow flash. Walking into the room, Naruto motioned for the duo to follow. After sitting himself behind the desk, Naruto turned to the 2 and said, Konohamaru, I have recommended that you be inducted into the shinobi ranks. Tomorrow is your graduation exam. After that, you will be performing D ranks with some Chunin teams. This is because I have recommended that you be allowed to participate in the upcoming Chunin exams. You shall be replacing me on Team 7. Practice hard and make me proud to be your master and friend. You can count on me, Shizo. Even if I hate D ranks, I will finish them with perfect records. Naruto nodded before turning to Suiran. I am going to be recommending you to be in the Chunin exams as well. Your teammates will be Yuki Haku and Uzumaki Karen, the latter of whom has just rejoined the clan. I am leaving behind clones while I am in Kiri to help train you. Here, catch. Suiran and Konohamaru looked surprised but easily snatched their respective scrolls. Seeing the questioning looks, Naruto explained, that contains the Katasuge and I developed for better control of Earth. Practice and perfect them at your leisure. They will help with your bending. Thank you, Naruto-sama. I will not let you down. By the time you return, boss, I will be a master in it. Naruto nodded with a smile before saying, bold words, Konohamaru, since I will be back by next Wednesday. Train hard, you two. And Suiran, have you tried manipulating crystal dust? Suiran's eyes widened in shock as Naruto smiled and vanished into thin air. So that's it for today, guys. If you like this story and want more, then please subscribe and turn on the bell icon. Until then, take care and goodbye.